What's up, everybody? I'm Marie, your dietitian here at Focus Integrated Fitness, and today I want to talk about vitamin D because as the sun starts to set earlier and you're walking out of work and you haven't even seen the sun that day, you are at a higher risk of vitamin D deficiency. So I want to talk about what vitamin D is used for and why, particularly in winter months, I tend to recommend a vitamin D supplement. So first of all, unlike most vitamins and minerals where I have a food-first approach, meaning that I typically recommend dietary changes before hopping on a supplement, you're actually not getting most of your vitamin D from food. You do get a little bit, particularly from fatty fish and also foods that have been fortified with vitamin D, so typically stuff like milk and cereals and stuff like that. But you actually get the majority of your vitamin D from sunlight. So as you can imagine, as the sun sets earlier, it's colder, people are bundled up, people are not outside during the hours that the sun is out, they are at a higher risk for vitamin D deficiency. In fact, according to the NIH, about 2/3 of people are insufficient of vitamin D. And I will say, as somebody that frequently looks at lab work, that tracks with what I typically see in how many people are either deficient or insufficient in vitamin D. So let's talk about why being deficient or insufficient might be a problem. First of all, vitamin D is intricately involved in your bone health and bone density. Actually, vitamin D is involved in all cell growth processes. So think about if you're lifting and you're building up new muscle. Might be important to make sure that you have some vitamin D to help with that new tissue repair and to grow new muscle tissue. But really, this is true of any cell regrowth process. Vitamin D is really important in regulating cell repair. So just overall cellular health, vitamin D is a very important vitamin to have in that process. And lastly, vitamin D is a big part of regulating your immune system and your immune system response. So what do I recommend that you do? First, let me caveat this that there's not a single supplement that is right for everybody and that this is just a blanket generalization. But in general, in the winter months, typically from about October to March, I do generally recommend taking a vitamin D supplement. There are tons of them on the market, and if you've watched any of my past videos, you know that I am a big advocate for choosing supplements that are safe and third-party tested. I am not sponsored by these, but two brands that I love and trust and are third-party tested are Thorne and Momentous, and both offer vitamin D supplements. A supplement that you can easily find at most pharmacies and grocery stores is a brand called Nature Made, and they are also third-party tested. Now let's talk about the form and the dose. So I typically recommend taking vitamin D3, and I typically recommend a dose anywhere from 1,000 to 5,000 IU. IU just stands for international units, and that is just the unit that vitamin D is measured in. So again, vitamin D is involved in a lot of different important processes. We tend to be deficient or insufficient in our vitamin D, and we don't typically get a whole lot of it out of our diet. We get it from the sun. So if you are somebody who is concerned about their vitamin D levels, if you have access, I would recommend getting them checked. You can easily get it checked through blood work if you have access to that, or you may benefit from a supplement. Let me know if there's another supplement that you want to learn about next.